Hey, welcome back, everybody. We've got another great show for you here today. Of course, we've got some great stock tips from Peter Safransky, our technical chartist. And I got a note from my producer. It looks like we've got a hot investment with a 3,000% return. Wait, what the hell, Kevin? This has to be from you. We're talking about Pokemon cards.
Yes,
Pokemon
we
cards?
are. Yes, we are. So, okay,
Nerd
all right,
alert.
all right. Y'all made fun of me on the last one, and so I had to bring this back up because this piece broke on the WSJ back on, let's see, the 10th of September here. I'll put it up on the screen. The hot investment with a 3,000% return, Pokemon cards. And this one touches close to home for me. And so I wanted to kind of break it down. This is probably the first time we're going to have one of these where I have more knowledge and experience than these two gentlemen here. And so I wanted to introduce you to a little bit of my world. Off to the side of the camera here is a massive wall that kind of stacks up there, covered with little boxes like these. I've been an avid Pokemon collector since about 1999. That's when I kind of got obsessed with this. Pokemon started in about the mid 90s, came to the United States in the late 90s, and it exploded. Pokemon mania was everywhere. But it kind of picked back up again right around the release of Pokemon Go, that little mobile app that was coming out right around, I think, 2015, 2016 was when that app was coming out. And in conjunction with that, they actually released a bunch of memorabilia and boxes surrounding the Pokemon Go fandom and all of that. This started this massive boom where these influencers started to get involved. And most notably, Jake Paul bought a Pikachu card for over, I think, $4 or $5 million. And so that started this massive boom of people saying, are they really worth that much? There's no way that it's worth that much money. And so people started really looking into this hobby. And then ironically, two very, very weird events happened that led to this boom. Number one was Gary Vaynerchuk launching VeeFriends. He launched his own trading card game, and in doing so, taught people how to kind of play and pump the trading card market. And it created this massive sensation of entrepreneurs coming into the space and recognizing that they could actually have more returns than an average investment on the stock market or any other exchange. The second really weird event that kind of came in and took everybody by surprise was the collapse of the sneaker market. Sneakers, specifically Air Jordans, Nikes, etc., are always resold very substantially for high numbers. But the problem is when you're not wearing a sneaker, they deteriorate. And a lot of people have been discovering their collections that are 10, 15 years older had deteriorated and they had no value. So all of these sneakerheads, as we like to call them, have been looking for a new hobby, and they found Pokemon cards. And oh boy, did they take it somewhere that it definitely hasn't gone before, specifically a couple collections. And I'm going to put some charts up on the screen here, mainly the 151 collection. This box specifically, I'm going to take my daughter to daycare in a few minutes here, and there's a vending machine along the way. So we always check it on the way to daycare. I can get this box at a vending machine for 25 bucks and then immediately go to Facebook Marketplace and sell it for 90. That right there is better than any stock return that you're going to find on any exchange right now. Maybe crypto, maybe something in the crypto space, but you can't do that with almost anything else. 400% in just a 5-minute transaction. The cards are even more ridiculous, and it takes a little bit of understanding to take it a little bit further. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible and do a broad overview, but we can start getting into certain things like grading, where we can actually send in some of our cards, some of our high value cards, into organizations like PSA. These, unfortunately, these are PSA 9, so the values aren't that great on them. But what it turned into is this Pidgeot turned into, I think, like 20 some odd dollars. That's about a $31 card there with that Gyarados. And so you start seeing some really weird things happen. And then you have people like me who do crazy things. Like this past Sunday, you go to pre-release events and you pull ultra rare cards from pre-release events that currently don't have market prices. This is currently being listed up on eBay for about $75. Nobody knows what the real value is. But at the end of the day, people are starting to look at this as an investment. And it's weird. And this is the weird part for me. I play the game. I actually have a deck, and like I go out and I play the game with other people and things like that. And so when I look at this and I see this massive boom, it angers me and excites me at the same time. There's a massive shortage of cards. Card prices are ridiculous. It's almost impossible to build a deck for the actual game, but we're all making a ton of money, so I can't complain about it. And that's Pokemon in like 5 minutes or less.
All right. Well, you mentioned the word weird several times. First, another weird event is you talking about Pokemon. Basically, you're just weird. You said something anger and excites you. This topic angers me, but what excites me is somehow you're married with 2 children and the biggest nerd I know.
Nice.
So good
That's
for
right.
you. You're probably the leader of your people. And finally, I can't argue with you. That was some good stuff right there. Peter, give me some stock tips.
Well, I will, but I gotta say this. I mean, why? Why is it becoming so big? I'm This is where I'm gonna just question it because what the hell is going on? Like, why is there a shortage of cards? You can make cards. It's just a factory that prints it. I don't get it. I mean, I get the scarcity factor on a lot of things, and there's so many alternative investments out there. I mean, fine wines come to mind, supercars. Yeah, and I know you can do that, but the company, like, are the companies that are making Pokemon, are they just purposely making 5 or 10 cards and then just saying, so be it? And is that creating the scarcity? And it just, I don't know. It's just mind boggling how there's significant value to this. And I might get a lot of pushback for what I'm saying here. Sorry
No,
to all the
it's
Pokemon aficionados, but I'm perplexed.
no, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this card is technically better in terms of quality than this card. So why does this have a $10 value and this has an over $20 value or over $30 value? But Pokemon is scarce because of three main reasons. Number one is an artificial scarcity created by Pokemon Center. For instance, this specific product right here is referred to as a Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. It's a little bit different than the regular just Elite Trainer boxes. I can find this at Target, Walmart, etc. Meanwhile, I have to order this directly from Pokemon directly. The value difference between them, I buy one of those boxes for $60 from Pokemon Center. I turn around and I can sell that for almost $200 today. Some of those maybe even higher. The 151, I'll put it back up on the screen. People were buying that box for $60 from the Pokemon Center. It is currently worth over $900 on the open market. Mainly it's because of the scarcity of the cards, and Pokemon is creating that scarcity. The second, and I'm going to tie it back into every other podcast that we've done here before, the tariffs. The tariffs have finally caught up with the Pokemon hobby. Yes, Pokemon cards here in the United States are printed in North Carolina. I actually know the supply chain, but I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's right here in North Carolina. But their printers, their ink, their materials are all coming from Shanghai, every single one of them. And so as those tariffs hit, the cost of cards have gone up. Then you take it a step further and you have people who have turned this into a full-time job. Costco, before they added product limits, I'll put some fights and like fun clips up on the screen right now. There were people literally fighting each other in stores to fill carts and pallets of these Pokemon cards and then rushing to Facebook Marketplace, doubling the price, making all their money back plus 100% profit on top of it. They've created this scarcity because they understand the rarity. 151 collection was a recalling to original fans. Admittedly, and it's almost embarrassing to do it, it was my recalling back to the hobby. I took about a 10, 15-year hiatus away from it up until the 151 came out. Because 151, that number is important. That's the original collection of Pokemon. Currently, there's over 1,000 Pokemon released, but the original set was 150 technically. And then the movie came out 151. And so that collection is the nostalgic, millennial, like, this is what you grew up with collection. And so it's a combination of all three of those things. And Nintendo, this is a stock channel. Let's go back to the publicly traded part of it. OTC Markets, NTDOY. Nintendo knows what they're doing. And they had this massive, massive decline back in 2022. And they've been rising ever since. And so 1 year on the chart, 64% up. They know how to create a market that is very sensationalized. They are one of the largest companies in the world, one of the largest fandoms ever created.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of lost, but I love it. I think that's great for them. And you know what? It's a market that, you know what, Stuart, you and I were in the wrong investments. I mean, this is where it's at, clearly.
Well, here's my advice. If you're interested in, I'm sorry, Peter, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Finish your thought there.
No, I just said we're in the wrong investment avenues, I guess, because this is where it's at. It's crazy. I'm amazed.
Well, if you're looking to get into Pokemon investing, the easiest way to explain it is when you go to a store and they have Pokemon on the shelf, if it doesn't have the word deck in it, if it does not a battle deck, any Pokemon product resells for double its value. And so you buy two of whatever, you immediately go to Facebook, you sell one of them for double value, and then you can actually start a Pokemon collection at zero cost, zero risk. And that's what I try to do, is zero cost, zero risk Pokemon collecting, where you're able to rip open boxes and not really care about the value because you're selling the other side of it and making all your money back. And so that's how you can get into it. If you see it on the shelves, Peter, go ahead, grab a booster pack, rip it open. I want to see what you get.
All right. Well, there you go. You got the inner scoop here on how to trade Pokemon going forward. Stuart and I are gonna jump to the store to
Yeah, let's
Walmart
talk
here
about
in a moment.
more adult things. Yeah.
Yes, let's switch it up a little less geeky though. Sorry guys, we'll move it to the micro cap space or the small cap space. More so for two. I've got two picks here, very non Pokemon. One of them, or the first one, is Symmetrix. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, I guess Symmetrix Corp. They're on the TSX, which is in Canada, and they are also on the OTCQB. That's CTXXF. I will show the chart up on the screen right now. They're a specialty construction contractor. The reason I like this, well, again, I look first and foremost at technicals. You can kind of see a multi-year chart here. It's been kind of up and down and up and down. But what you'll notice is from the low of October 2022 and then the second low of April 2025, a higher low, which is already a positive thing. And you got a major technical resistance level around 34 cents. And the stock is basically at that level right now and curling up. I'm in the camp of this is going to break that level. If it breaks that level, we've got a nice little run here. I mean, the fundamentals look good. Take a look at them when you have a moment, or they're far improving for the company. You've also got the headwind of the bipartisan infrastructure law that was passed in 2021. It's in place for another year or so. So that's going to be a good tailwind for construction in general. And then again, you've got the typical government playbook of increasing infrastructure in general when there is weaker economic growth. So that's likely to play out as well here if it hasn't already. So for those reasons, I kind of like this stock in terms of a level. It can easily run up to that 50-cent resistance. I'm not going to give a specific time frame, but I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, but 50 cents would be a nice little level to circle back to. Then another stock that I'm looking at, or actually I'll first talk about the sector, is the weed sector, the pot stocks and so forth. They've been, if everyone remembers, back in, I don't know, 2020, 2021, they were the hottest thing ever. They were the AI, so to speak. And they've had their day in the sun, and they've had a big hangover over the last few years for a bunch of reasons. But what I'm noticing in the charts, and goes for a bunch of different pot related stocks, is you're either getting a bottoming in play over the last couple of years or the beginnings of an uptrend. So the one stock that I pulled up here is Kronos Group. They are CRON, both on the, let me double check, on the NASDAQ as well as the TSX, so they're duly listed. Again, pot stock. You're kind of looking with this particular name, you're looking at this big multi-year rounded bottom that I really like to see because these are longer term plays. We know what's going on, with President Trump trying to, basically make weed stocks or weed in general less restrictive on the federal level. So all those are going to be tailwinds as well for the sector. They've had several years of hard times, so they've gotten as a sector, they've gotten better at managing their business and their finances. So I think they're much better financially, and they're just simply late to the party. Everything else is running or has run dramatically, from mining to AI to crypto, you name it. Pot stocks, not really. They're just perking higher now. So if you want a late to the party kind of sector, it's going to be pot stocks, in my opinion. And Kronos is a great one here. So in terms of that one, I mean, we're right now around 275 a share. It's looking like it could run to at least the 350 resistance, maybe even that 30 resistance in time as well. So it's got some upside and honestly very limited downside. You're looking at 245 as your downside support. So those would be my two plays that I would look at. You can look either as the sector, the weed sector, or if you want specific stocks, Kronos. And then, as I said, the first one was more of an infrastructure play, Symmetrix Corp. Those are my non-Pokemon ideas.
Yeah, I'm gun shy there. I mean, I lost so much money on Tilray and some of the other ones when this was going up, but I'm a little gun shy, but I'm glad there's a bounce play. I'm glad that Peter brought that up. Big news in the States here with the Trump administration really wanting to grab some market share back from China when it comes to lithium. And I don't know if you guys saw this morning, but LAC on the NASDAQ, this is a small cap stock. I'm the CEO of SmallCapVoice. So I wanted to talk about this one. It's up 95% currently. Lithium Americas is the company. LAC is the ticker symbol. But more than that, we've had former clients, we've been talking about the lithium space for a long time. And, you may not always agree with this administration. You may love this administration. But one of the things I think that's clearly important to all of North America is to expand its reach and to try to be self sufficient as much as possible in lithium. We don't want to be beholden to other nations, especially ones that were constantly in conflict. And this is a big piece of news. You can find it on the front page of everything right now. So there's other companies within this, but right now, LAC is the one that's really blowing up. This lithium, it goes into the chips that Intel uses. It goes into so many different things, all of our electric vehicles. So, of course, lithium ion batteries. This is one I really want everybody to take a look at because this is a 1-day run. Obviously, we're missing the boat on this with it being up 96% currently. It's going to have a pullback, but this might be a space where you can look for other players. There's a lot of OTC players in this space. LEXP comes off to the top of my head, Lithium Exploration Company. So there's a lot of other ones. Take a look at lithium. This reminds me a lot of some of the nuclear plays about 10 years ago. And I think nuclear plays are going to be coming back into vogue very soon as well. We've got to start figuring out our energy here in North America. That's the United States and Canada. So that's my take on it today. Anything else, guys?
No, looks like we're all kind of in different pursuits. I'm gonna check out that cannabis play. That I haven't had a heard of a good cannabis company in quite some time. I really like that one, and such a shame about missing the boat on this lithium company. That is a hell of a run.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's a great, well, we've got to watch these things. It's almost like watching the nightly news. When we start hearing, or even C-SPAN, when you start hearing that rhetoric around, we have to compete in lithium, and then all of a sudden these kind of things come out, this was in the tea leaves. We could have read the tea leaves. I'm not surprised you're into the cannabis play, Kevin. I assume later this evening you'll smoke weed and play Pokemon all day.
That's right.
But kudos
It
to
is
you.
Southern California.
All right, everybody. For Kevin, Peter, this is Stuart saying thanks so much for tuning in again.